Hello, and welcome to the Coach Therapy Podcast. I'm Coach Q, and I am so excited that you decided to tune in today. We're going to take a journey through vulnerability so that we can reach clarity, healing, growth, and success. You're going to learn some things about you, you'll learn some things about me, but most importantly, you will receive tools every episode that will help you to become better every single day. Enjoy Coach Therapy. Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Coach Therapy Podcast. I'm Coach Q, and of course, I want to say thank you. Thank you for clicking on this video and tapping in. And we're going to chat today. I'm excited to be able to share with you as I do week after week. So, y'all, can we talk? Can we talk? Can we talk for a minute? Girl, I want to know your name. I'm kidding. Oh, so that's a secret to those who may not know. I can sing a little bit, poquito. Um, Funny, when I was a kid, so my dad is a preacher, and when I was a kid, we used to have choir rehearsal, and I would get sent to choir rehearsal, and my older sisters were the directors of the choir. And I promise y'all, I always got on punishment because I hated singing. And I still do. Like at this big age, I do not like singing. And so when I was little, I used to be at rehearsal and I'm like, I just wouldn't sing. And then I would get home and they would be like, Daddy, Quinny did not sing at choir rehearsal today. And they said, my dad would be like, you're on punishment. I was always on punishment for just not doing what I was supposed to do. So it's funny that I would even play around. Like I like to sing at the house, but like to just do it publicly, absolutely not. So fun fact about me, can sing, don't like to. Uh Really all my family can sing. It's just like a gift that we were given, and some of them have chosen to utilize their gift in a major way. And then for me, I prefer podcasting. But really, welcome to another episode of the Coach Therapy Podcast. And so I'm excited to be able to chat with you. And I want to share something a little bit. Sometimes I share a note from my phone. But today, I looked over at my book, Pregnant with a Vision. Um, Here you go. See if you can see that. Pregnant with a Vision. I wrote this book about 5 years ago, and it's about conceiving and achieving your life's purpose. So it's a book all around purpose. And if you just look at the cover of it, it's like it's an eyeball that is surrounded by a tree, but it has a baby inside of it. And so it's really about growing your purpose and really developing in it. And yeah, I wrote this book about 5 years ago, and I picked it up today, and I was like, and I just turned to a page, and I was like, I read it a little bit, and I was like, I'm going to share that on my podcast. So I'm going to share um, just a little insert, and we're going to talk about it. This section is called The Cycle of Purpose. The first thing you must know about fulfilling your vision is that it is a process. It is not something that takes place overnight, but it happens over the course of your life. The journey began the moment that you entered into this world, and I like to call it the cycle of purpose. I refer to this evolutionary process as a cycle because it is a sequence of events. It isn't one big thing that happens, it is a series of little things, one step at a time, day by day, year after year. You will have to work at it, keep going, and continue trying. And when I looked at that and I read that small little insert, it kind of just spoke to where I am right now. It is a process. And you have to keep working at it and keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Here I am. This is episode number 16 of the Coach Therapy Podcast. Yay! And I like to say that the last 16 weeks have been easy, but that wouldn't be true. And I would like to say that the last 16 weeks have yielded the results that I had hoped for since I decided to start this podcast. That wouldn't be true either. And I would like to say that all of these opportunities have happened because of my consistency. And I will say, I'm still waiting on those. And I wish I could tell you that it has grown to the magnitude that I knew it always would. But I would have to say it's growing, and I still believe. I'm sharing this with you because it's a process. And it is so easy to get caught up in looking at everybody around you and viewing snapshots as a full-blown successful process when that may not be the case at all. Purpose is something that we have to cultivate. I do believe that I was born with a purpose. You were born with a purpose. But it takes time for that thing to really mature and to yield our desired results. When I wrote Pregnant with a Vision 5 years ago, wow, it's so crazy. 5 years ago, I was so unsure of who I was. The funny thing is, I wrote this book with the intent like this is going to be a bestseller, and it hasn't happened yet. And I wrote that 5 years ago. It's a process. And I'm in the process of writing another book, and I believe it's going to be a bestseller. It's a process. But one thing that I know with full certainty is that I am living in purpose with full intentionality. And although it has not yielded all of the results that I am hoping for yet, and I do mean yet, because I still believe. In the words of Coach Prime, I believe. I am a football junkie, for those of you who don't know. And I love watching Well Off Media's videos that they put out where Coach Prime give these great speeches to the football team. And I digress, but I believe, right? So that he always says that to his team, I believe, I believe. And even on the weeks that they're not winning, he's like, I believe. And it's like, dang, you got to speak that thing even when you're in the process. And so when I think about my own life and I think about my own aspirations and endeavors, I'm like, I believe. I believe when it's not going the way that I want it to go. I believe when it's not yielding the results that I want it to yield. I believe because it's a process. And a process requires consistency. It requires that we do it over and over and over again. And it requires that we do it when we don't feel like it. And we do it when we can't really see the value in it. We just have to do it with intention over and over and over again. And so this podcast is a testament to I have bought into the process completely. And I want to just talk to someone who may be feeling like, I don't know how this is going to pan out. I don't know how it's going to work out. And it's like, it will. In the book, Pregnant with a Vision, I really start off from the moment of conception and all the way till giving birth in the sense of a vision, though. So, yes, I'm a science junkie and I'm a little nerd at heart. And so I know all about the reproductive process. And I utilize that knowledge to kind of paint a picture of when God plants a seed inside of us, how we have to go through a process to maturing it all the way till it becomes functional. And then we have to push it out. It's a process. And so a lot of times we're spending so much time maturing our gift. And what we want is we want to find out we're pregnant with the vision. We want to find out that we have this amazing idea, and boom, we want results. Boom, we want money. Boom, we want everybody to be inviting us everywhere. And boom, we want all of these followers. And it's a process. And so it feels like I'm doing all of this and I'm being really consistent, and I got to do it again and 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 again. And the answer is yes, do it again and do it again. It is so easy to get discouraged as we are repeating what is necessary for success. We're in this repetitive cycle with I have to do it again, with a good attitude again, and with intensity again. And it starts to become a test to do something again and again when the results don't seem to change. It's like when a woman is pregnant, she can be sick for 3 months, that first trimester, and some longer, but she can be sick and just like throwing up every day, and people can see her. And if she don't tell them, they won't even know she's pregnant. And I'm saying that because we go through seasons where we are doing all of this stuff and we are cultivating the gift and we are nurturing the gift and we are working really hard, and nobody is not even acknowledging what's growing inside of us. And we have to do it again. But what I am certain of is that if we continue to embrace the process, if we continue on the path of consistency, we have to see results. We have to see results. I know that giving up crosses your mind from time to time. I know that sometimes you feel like you're crazy. Like, what am I doing? Why do I know? Because, child, I think it too. I be like, girl, what is you doing? Are you crazy? Are you sure? I know God be getting tired of me because I be like, God, I don't know. I don't know. Right? I go through all of the same feelings, but it has to yield results. It has to. I remember when I first launched my business 10 years ago, I did not know what I was doing and I didn't know who I would touch, but I was sure that I had found my purpose and I was aware of what it is that I needed to do to begin the journey. And I started this process, and nobody knew me as Coach Q. Nobody knew me as a writer, as a speaker. Nobody knew. I didn't even know. I knew that I used to um keep diaries. Like I've kept diaries throughout life. Like I think from like 10 years old, I still have my diary when I was like this little girl and I was writing in there, I got on punishment and I'm mad, or whatever, something crazy, right? Mad about some little boy at school. I kept a diary and I would always write. And I did it over and over and over again, and then it became pregnant with the vision, right? And but 10 years ago, I didn't know like all that I would become. And I just kept at it. Like when God gave me the vision of my life and who I am and who I would become, I was in Coach Q. I was actually in my master's program and just entered into my master's program. And I was still on the trajectory of becoming a medical doctor. And in that moment, what he showed me didn't align with what I had thought I would be and who I felt that I was called to be. And I just didn't understand it. And over time, I said yes. And if you read the Pregnant with a Vision book, it goes into full detail of like how I got to the place of deciding like I'm going to not do things my way, but really live according to my purpose. But then I had to do all of these things. And I remember starting off with like little social media posts and, to say it took me a while, but to get to a couple thousand followers, right? And then I started having events, and then those started to sell out. And then I started speaking, and more people started to call me, and I started coaching, and I got more clients, but I had to do it again and again and again. And here I am 10 years later. I'm like, I'm still doing it. And what I'm realizing is as I embrace the process, that my purpose is maturing and I'm reaching levels that I didn't know that I could. And although sometimes it feels like a never ending cycle, which is why I deemed that section of the book, The Cycle of Purpose, it's because we have to continue on the path. Embracing the process does not mean embracing it until you get the results that you want. It is embracing it when you get the results that you want, embracing it when you don't get the results that you want, embracing it fully, knowing that this isn't just a moment that I'm working on this, but this is what I am committed to. This is where I am, and this is a trajectory of my life, and I have to live in alignment. And so embracing the process does not mean just okay, look, waiting for it to end, but it's finding yourself in it and working through whatever it comes with. And as we are getting ready to close out this year, I want us to start to align our thoughts, not with this is what I want to do, because we always label the year like this year, I'm going to write a book. And this year, I'm going to lose weight. And this year, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. But I want us to start thinking about this year, I am going to embrace the process of becoming, and then you fill in the blank. Because I don't want you to create an expectation just for the goal. I want you to prepare yourself for the process. Okay. And as you begin to mentally prepare for the process that it is going to require to get to the goal, it will help you to not have false expectations of what things should be like. We live in a world of social media where we can just click on anything and scroll, and we see success all around us, and we see somebody that it seemed like they changed overnight or whatever it is. And so we don't always have access to the process, to their process. A lot of times the stuff that we ooh and the eyeing over is dead smack in the middle of the process. They just didn't show us that part. Okay. And so I want you thinking about how can you fall in love with your process? How can you embrace the process that it is required to get to your end goal? Yeah, keep the goal, keep it up there. Keep those aspirations, but just know it's a process. And how can you love it? How can you dedicate yourself to it? How can you not prematurely give up while you're in it? I know you can do it, but I don't think we give enough attention to the process. What's his name? Joel Embiid plays for the 76ers, star player, and they call him Trust the Process. He's given himself that name, I believe, on Twitter. And when I think about his career, like he's been, league MVP, dominant. He hasn't run a championship ring, but he's been sticking it out with that team. He's trusting the process. So we all have a process. No matter who we are, no matter how far we've gone, I know we can all sit down and tell a story about who child, but this process. Yeah, I know this looks good, but that process though. And that's what a lot of people isn't talking about. Um, they're not talking about the process. But I want to talk about it because I know it to be real. And I know that I have to continue on it. I know that episode 16 is amazing, but I have so far to go. I have so much more that I want to accomplish that I will accomplish. But I have to trust the process. I have to keep going. And I just want to encourage you because you have made some tremendous strides. You made great progress. You're on the right track. And I know you haven't yet reached your end goal. Or maybe your goals have changed and you've elevated those goals. Whatever that is, trust the process. You have to trust the process is going to get better. You're going to get better. But you got to trust it. And so I want you to have an amazing week. I'm talking about an amazing one. And I want you to trust the process, trust your gift, trust that you have purpose for your life. And as you prepare to go into the new year, I want you thinking about how can you fall in love with the process? List your goals, set your resolutions, but don't forget about the process. Until next time, take care of yourself. Hello, and welcome to the Coach Therapy Podcast. I'm Coach Q, and I am so excited that you decided to tune in today. We're going to take a journey through vulnerability so that we can reach clarity,